There we go. Bang. Okay. Now, you may have missed it earlier because I didn't stream it live, so unless you were in the park, you might not have seen it. But we have this lovely picture that is taking place right now, and what it is a landscape of New York City. So we have the ground here, footpath, road, some cars up here forming a massive line here, a little group of people, muted. Ooh, shouldn't be. You should have sound. Can you hear the words leaving my mouth? G'day, Steve. How are we doing? Good to see you here, Steve. Steve, I've got something quite exciting for you. I'll message you after this, but it's exciting. So your work right now, I'm letting it sit for a bit of time, but the frame's going to be exciting for our cowboys. And can we hear the words I'm saying? Because someone said that I was muted, but I don't think I am muted. Hey Nova, by the way. I think we've got voice. Do we have voice? Hopefully we have voice. Thanks for the whipped coffee. I've got a nice coffee right here actually. It was a warm coffee, but I left it out for long enough that... Hey Betty, and hey Stacey. Perfect, Steve. Thanks for the heads up. I was getting worried there. I thought I was talking to myself for a while. So what I'm looking at right now, this is a landscape, but it's unusual. It's not like our lawn, not like our normal landscapes. This one is New York City. So aside from the intensity of the colours and the changes, when I say intensity of colours, I mean the red lights on the cars, the giant sides of the buildings that are highlighted in blue and magenta. Not just this intense style of windows, but actually these giant flat areas in the painting. What's going to become one of the key features is how it's going to have a landscape feel, but it's going to have the colours of the concrete jungle. That's the fun. Look, I'm telling you, I've never ever had a better coffee mug, and when I actually end up breaking it, which I did with my first one, it was a custard cup, I'm going to go back to Europe. I'm going to go back to that small town, back to that tiny little general store. I'm going to go in there and ask them for another jug of custard. And you'll be like, well, why would you do that when you can just go anywhere and get the same custard? Because I want the journey. I want to go back to where I started. That is my plan. And hello, Sam. I'm doing fantastically. Thanks for joining in. This layer here, you didn't miss it. Pardon me, I've got to make that clear, you didn't miss it. I did this one in a park. So I did the first wild coat in the park, and I've never had as much wind as was in this park. It was absolutely insane. I'm telling you, this wind was whipping up a storm, and it made it incredibly hard to keep everything still. I've never done anything like that before. Well, I have done stuff like that before actually, as a stupid comment, but I mean, I've never had it that windy. Out of all the windy times we've had. Pink, this one is for you. Not for you, but you are in New York City, and this is a painting of New York. It's not of anything in particular. It's not those main areas that you see. Leon's cake. Thanks, Nova. It was pretty cool. I like that. It's not the main scenes that you see in New York. It's not the regular tourist attractions. This is just a street in New York. It's got some construction happening, traffic that's clogged up, but not too much traffic, and some big billboard signs, and these tall concrete sides, not just windows, but actually just faces, flat negative space areas. So we're going to play with that. It's going to be quite fun. Side street, yeah. Haven't got a name for it yet though, so I need to talk with Chad, the owner of this painting, and I'm thinking I wanted to name it similar to how we named the city different, which is Santa Fe. And Santa Fe was named the city different because that's the slang term for Santa Fe. And since New York's also a city, maybe this one gets called not the Empire State, because that would be the entirety of the state, but we're looking at the city. I would like to call it something like the Big Apple. Whatever slang term is best fitting. Hi July, Nova, you're an absolute champion. AJ, I'm sorry, this is not available. This one's not available. There will be prints, but the actual real one, once we finish it, is going to a good friend and collector, Chad. And Chad's fascinating. Chad's fascinating because Chad has an eye for art in terms of this is the second landscape Chad's asked for. And he both wants to get art that's unique and creative, but he also has this connection to these places, these landscapes. Santa Fe, a city different, real special part of his life. And so he wanted an original piece that complemented that part of his life, but stood as an original in and of itself. Sort of like Steve with Mahalo. Similar journey, completely different. Just like us as people. We've got similarities, but we're all completely different. Hello from Thailand. Welcome. Is that a city? It is a city. Something to do without Apple. And hey Trina, how you doing? Yeah. It is kind of funny though, because we do this one for Chad, and then we do the wilderness of Mahalo for Steve, and then we swing back into a portrait, then we go back to a landscape. We're going in all directions. I love it, guys. You keep me on my toes. We've got a garden coming up soon as well, and we're going to do it in a Garden of Eden style. Absolutely beautiful. All the flowers you can imagine. I think it's just a regular side street, Joe. It's a regular side street. It's going to have still those beautiful colours, but this whole building here, this is just a concrete face. There's no advertising on it at all. The only thing that lights it up is the lights on the street and the buildings reflecting onto it. It's the biggest focal point of the whole image, this intense colour. It's flat concrete. There's nothing in it. Okay. Yeah, it is quite cool, Pink. When I was talking about doing New York, I thought we'd end up doing a Madison Square one. I thought that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We can do like an angle of it, or we can, investigate, these big sites in New York and try and capture something of significance, in a new way. And when I saw this photo, I was like, that's unique. That's New York. By one person's experience. Chad took this photo. So this is New York, but it's not what everyone else would perceive it as. It's his experience of it. And so I find that really fascinating, because for me personally, it means we're capturing a part of New York that's not what everyone sees. Although anyone can walk down the street, only one person has that sudden, I recognise that place. This is a parking sign here, guys. This is not big billboards. And I love it. I reckon the Statue of Liberty will be fascinating, Pink. Ooh, but if I was to do the Statue of Liberty, here's what I'd do. Get this. I would do it in the colours that it was when it originally arrived to its final location, which is copper plating, isn't it? So we'd do it with bronze. Bronze and copper colours. And that would be fun. Man, I'd enjoy that, because you'd have Statue of Liberty as it was for a brief period before it oxidised and became turquoise. Is it turquoise? Turquoise. I think it's turquoise. Whoop. Trying to spill your paint, otherwise you look stupid in front of everyone. Just like cities, every trip to New York City becomes its very own. It does. It does. Every time I've been there, it's been entirely different. And it's the sort of place where no matter how many times you go, you can find something new. And the thing that always gets me is when you're on the streets, all the faces are new. It's new people every time on the subway. New people, new people. And if you're visiting New York City, there's an experience you seldom get in a giant city of 1 million faces, more than 1 million faces. everywhere. Sometimes you recognise a person. You're not sure where from or how long ago, but you recognise them. Did you see them on the bus the day before, or you see them now? It's hard to know, but I'm sure if you live in New York City like me, you recognise people more often. But there's something special about being in a place where so many different faces come at you all the time, and then all of a sudden, I've seen that person before. It like gets this randomly generated giant city outside of the realms of surrealism and goes, no, no, no. Everyone's an individual life, doing something, living something, going through something, being a person. And that's quite a cool experience to have. I'm going to have to go to bed. Michael, thank you for joining in, you absolute champion. You were here briefly, I was here briefly. We're not going to be around all night though, Michael. We're here for another hour 10. So we're doing a brief session, an hour 10, and then we're on the road. But I'd like to stay for longer, but I have to rush off to a special occasion. Hopefully I can come back later on tonight, because I've got this picture and I've got one other one. And they're both wild. This is so wild. I can't wait to edit the reels, and honestly, I'm gonna have to edit out some of the craziness, because otherwise it's just too much. The amount of times this canvas tried to flip and disappear, and because it's a canvas, it's fragile, and so you're painting, you're moving, you're dancing, you're flicking paint, and then all of a sudden you're diving to capture the easel because it's trying to fly off into the distance. And I like that, because honestly, when I've been in New York City, it is a little bit like the Wild West. And when you're a small country boy, like me, I was born in the middle of nowhere, country in King's Country, here in New Zealand. When you're from that area, sometimes the city can overwhelm you. You can feel like you're juggling balls, but failing and dropping and losing. Now, what the beauty behind that is, for me, is this: what the city started. Its first coat was born in that crazy loss of control. Similar to how we started the Two Cowboys picture. We couldn't start it in a controlled environment. That's not the Wild West. That's not how we can start something truly crazy and different. So, this is giving me cyberpunk vibes. It should do. It should do. The whole of New York should give you cyberpunk vibes. Mortal Kombat is based off an old Scandinavian church song. It was based off a Finnish... My name's Chad, and I'm so funny. This is the 5th or 6th time that I've said something funny like that, and Seb's read out my comment. I get him every time because Seb's way too polite to read the comment first and then do the thing. I'm sorry. That was a good joke. It was good. How am I? Eva Dillison. I am fantastic. I am currently doing this beautiful picture. Is it New Year? Not here. I'll tell you what it is here though. It is winter. And man, did I feel it when I painted New York. If New York's cold in winter, I tell you what, we've encapsulated some of that in this painting's first coat. I'll tell you that. Wow. Man, it was cold out. But it was worth it. There was that classic going out of your comfort zone, going somewhere crazy, relinquishing, not just losing, but relinquishing control to the elements and seeing where it can take you. Come back up here. I'm currently designing a typeface at the moment. It's around cyberpunk. That's fun. You know, when I was in high school, I used to love different typefaces. The psychology of fonts. I was a real nerd. I love the psychology of fonts. The way we perceive serif, sans serif, why Helvetica has proliferated to the degree it has. Comic Sans. I love it how the meme of all texts, Comic Sans, has the word comic in it. It's like Comic Sans knew what it was going to become before it did. Doesn't Ariana Grande sound like a font? It does. It does. She could copyright that. What I reckon would be really cool is celebrity fonts. Bear with me. So imagine you could use a font on Microsoft Word or any program, Photoshop, and what you do is you download Leonardo DiCaprio's font, and what it is he draws every letter in the way that he draws it. So he's right-handed, left-handed, leans too forward much, pushes too hard, who knows? And you get every letter from Leonardo, and you can actually write books, or write texts, or send texts, or do designs with Leonardo DiCaprio, the text. I think that's quite cool. I think that would pop. No, I'm not on television. I just hang out here with you guys. I was on television, thanks to you guys, but not at the moment. This is just us hanging out. And thanks for sharing the live, Steve. That is a lovely, lovely thing to do. Especially if someone, somewhere in the world, is feeling like seeing a little picture of New York City. Let's go here. Where else are we going to go? Just up in here. I'm going to break down some of that pink. We'll come back to the pink. We're not going to lose it altogether, but we are going to allow this blue to sneak in there. Gain some control. There we go. Pink's like, don't you touch the pink. You leave that pink in there, Sebastian. Shared to my brother in New York City. That's fantastic, Sam. You know, as we go through more and more layers too, maybe your brother can spot where this is. I could read out a number plate, but I'm sure that's against some sort of a rule. I'm not sure that would help you guess it as well, because cars tend to move. Let's put this in here. Sorry, 1 second, guys. There we are. Perfect. We need a couple of cut lines through here. Recognise those areas of the concrete where they separate. And then when we come in with more of those greys, we can start to separate them better. That's the plan. There'll be a lot of grey in this picture. And that's why colour, the line underneath, is so important. Because even though when you see concrete in New York, it needs to have that feeling of, what's the term? Life bouncing. Do paint on other mediums beside canvas? I usually do board, to be honest. And I chop and change. I'm back on canvas at the moment. I will go back to board, but I can't make up my mind. I love them both. They both have amazing perks. Definitely canvas was the wrong choice for today. It came out correct, but it made my life harder because of how the wind and things catches canvas and moves it so much more than a heavy board which holds its ground. So this comes into effect. It's there is a lot of different shades of pink in this picture. We're going to grab those straight after I get these last little bits of blue in here. One of the catches of canvas though that you get is you do get an ever so slight, you can remove it with gessos and things, which we've done largely with this canvas, but an ever so slight indent of the texture of the canvas. Grab this one down here. There we go. You're all good. I'll show you the picture. Here we go. Now, bear with me. It looks a little bit niggly, and the reason it looks a little bit niggly is I had to tape it onto a cardboard piece to hold it in place because the wind was so strong. It was curling it around, and just I wasn't able to see it at all. So here's what it looks like. Let me lift it off this. Oh my god, it's well taped on. Here we go. I'll lift this off here. There it comes. This is our reference picture, and it's on this board here, taped on, because in the heat of the moment, paint was flying around, the wind was going everywhere, and I taped this to a pole and was like, right, stay. There's our picture. So New York City, you can see the cars moving along there, a lot of blue light. That's that giant concrete wall that I've been talking about. But I'll do this. I'll put it in this, watch this. Here we go. Same position. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And back. And down. And one more time. One more time. Here we go. Woompha. Dee-doomfa. There we go. Who enjoyed that little movement? I thought that was pretty cool. I was pretty proud of myself. So we've highlighted some of the biggest colours so far. And as we go, we'll keep capturing more and more and more, but at the moment, focus on the big colours. Now, I'm able to bring this in so it doesn't fall off on me. There, you gonna stay there for me? I'm gonna need some more tape now. How drastically inconvenient of you, making me move my reference picture, and now it's all to whack. Now everyone's waiting awkwardly while I retape this. Ugh. Kidding. Totally fair enough to ask, to be honest. There we go. We might actually, one more bit of tape over the top there, and we'll be away. So, with this style, remember how we're not painting by numbers here. We're doing this yeah, right? Thanks, Pink. I appreciate that. Picture itself. Now, when I put it side by side like that, you see this, it looks kind of wild. There seems like there's an indication of a city inside there, or maybe a cityscape. Thanks, Shinley. Appreciate you. This is like an urban cowboy. But only when you put the picture right beside it and go side, side, side like this, you go, oh, all those wild, weird, cascading, jumbled, confused strokes are representing something. And that's where that paint by chaos comes into it. That's not a real term, I just like saying that. Instead of paint by numbers. And that there is no blueprint for layering and use of colours. We're seeing things on the picture and we're trying to capture it on the canvas, and that's all we're doing, one after the other, rudimentary, almost caveman-like, and hopefully with every stroke, one after another, sometimes it takes hundreds, sometimes it takes thousands of strokes, a picture can't help but to emerge. Okay. Mikey gets it. Mikey gets it. That's what they say about Mikey. They're like, yeah, there you go, Mikey. He's a guy that gets it. Alright, here we go. Ooh. Is this the right colour though? That's the question. Let's dab a bit. We'll dab a little bit of it. I think we need to splice this. We do. I'm going to splice it right now. Here we go. Hey Rockwell Stan. Yes, I know. You've been so patient with me, Rockwell. One day, you'll come on here. Sybil have gone and got his new prescription glasses. And suddenly, his paintings will look completely different. And you'd be like, oh, he wasn't actually a really good abstract artist. He was just really blind. Imagine if that turned out to be the case. Vernon, you're an absolute champion. Thanks, mate. Imagine if that turned out to be the case. Seb's just really blind. Yeah, so part of this painting, it's concrete. Most of this picture is concrete. But the joy that comes from it is the reflections on the concrete. And so what we want to capture on these concrete surfaces is, first off, I want you to be able to recognise them as concrete. But after that, I want you to not be able to neglect or miss the vibrancy and intensity and the fun and movement and energy of New York City. I think the only logo I can recognise in the picture, apart from the parking sign, is it CAP? GAP, G-A-P? I forget. Here we go. Chrissy, Miss Jasmine. That's Fifth Ave. Is it Fifth Ave? How do you know? I'm not saying no. If you're correct, you're amazing. But how do you know? Getting the blacks in. There we go. Yeah. I love this crane here. This is... I love it how normally when you take a photo, you might try and avoid the infrastructure being built, but the fact that Chad's been like, the crane is part of this picture, and captured it not only in the picture, but almost central in the picture, is really, really special. It's really self-aware, accepting what makes a picture. I love that. What makes an environment? It wouldn't be New York City without some construction work going on. Things like, yep, as annoying as that is, that's a true statement. It wouldn't be New York without construction. Here we go. We need a simpler plate out now. Now remember, don't get your hopes up on this set. This is a shorter set. We're only here for a limited time. There's another hour, 60 minutes. 60 minutes, 6-0. We're going to use every single one of those minutes, but it's 60 minutes. College, the bloops of colour near the bottom. The bloops of colour near the bottom. These ones. So the concrete, this is all concrete here. This is tarmac, tar seal. This is a concrete wall. This is a concrete wall. This is mainly a concrete wall except for a few windows and a line down here. Now, all those surfaces aren't just grey. They're not just grey concrete. They have reflection of light. In fact, most of the different colours of light appears on this concrete, just like water reflects the sky and the mountains. In this case here, this wet concrete is reflecting the light from the cars. That's why you see that red through here. Red on the cars, red on the concrete. Blue on the buildings, below the cars a little bit, coming up here, reflected on the concrete, wisping through here. Yellow, lights, street lights, down here. So we're going to get it all in there. Is there anything I don't like painting? I haven't found it yet. I haven't found it yet. Yes, this is... I think this concrete here is wet. It looks shiny in the picture. So I'll be guessing that. I'll be guessing that. Here we go. Purple and black are our next two colours. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I can't read that, but it's very exciting. I do get so intrigued by other languages. Text and symbols that you can't understand. Anyway, we're going to start with purple, and then we're going to move off into black, with the goal of representing a few of these areas that we haven't quite got yet. There we go. I've had one song stuck in my head these last few days. That song by, who was the person? Oh God. In a Star Is Born. Lady Gaga. I think it's Bloody Mary, I think is the name of the song. Yeah, Lady Gaga is great. Lady Gaga is great. I think one of the things that we find so compelling about Lady Gaga, she was one of the first, like, when she wore a meat dress, which obviously is not so great these days because it's obviously not how we want to be doing things, but at the time it was very innovative to do these sort of things and to disrupt what you believe your personal image to be. And she's like, you know what? I'm willing to use myself as an experiment almost to see how far we can break down who we are. Which version, TikTok's version or the original? I think I like hers, to be honest. Her one's slower, isn't it? It's more of a dance, 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 dance. It like hits slower. I like it. I like her one. Yeah, so her one, Pink. Nothing on TikTok, but her one's good. There we go. There we go. There's a car here too. Hello, Jacob. I'm having a good day, Jacob. But I'll tell you what, I'm sorry your day's not kicking any goals so far. Come hang out with us. Grab yourself a glass of water, cup of coffee, glass of wine, or a Irish whiskey without the coffee or milk. Ah, last day of the camping season, yes. Yes, you are, in amongst the drama. 101. For anyone who doesn't know, Jacob's in the middle of what would be the equivalent of that movie. Is it Red Hot American Summer? I forget. Digging your painting with intention. Painting with intention, great word. Now this, we've got the black areas in this painting, but I'm coming back around with this purple, and we're going to come back with blacks as well, because we have to highlight those dark areas with multiple shades. Multiple. It is Jacob. You're hitting that nail on the head. It's amazing how with just a few strokes, people are guessing the elephant, people are seeing the city street. You don't give you much of a chance to build these layers before you start spying what these pictures are. There we go. Scott, as long as it's PG and related to art, you can go for gold. But the fact that you didn't just straight up ask, and you asked if you could ask a question, makes me think otherwise. Here we go. Dabble that in there. They figured me out. Yeah. I do feel figured out, Pink. I feel like all those memes that talk of don't let anyone predict your next move. Suddenly, I'm the fool. I love pink and teal together. Would never think, but those, yeah, pink and teal absolutely slap together. Pink and turquoise are the best. How did I arrive at this composition? That's a good question. In this case here, I was given the photo, and sometimes I crop photos and change them, but this one here is already a pretty good shot. It gets some quite interesting stuff disappearing off a BOW here, another parking sign cut off slightly, and I think that's actually quite fun. So we haven't changed the composition at all on this one. A lot of the time we learn in art school, and there's even been a guy who's been suggested to me over and over again. Maybe Google or Facebook or Instagram thinks I need some composition, but over and over again saying, you know, composition is the crux and the art of all painting. It's important. Composition is important, but don't let composition control what could be an amazing piece. Artists are out there, professionals are out there putting a red dot in the corner here and leaving the rest white, and suddenly that's clever composition. So don't think that there's a rule of thirds. Don't think that there's a rule of halves. In this case here, this is an interesting one because it's, hello Jade, how you doing? Have you been there? No, I have been here, but this isn't my photo. In terms of the rule of thirds though, these do hit almost bang on the rule of thirds, so it does feel like a nice composition, but only by chance. The actual, yeah, don't, in my opinion, don't ever let start with inspiration, start with the picture, and then composition can come afterwards. Composition is not the fundamental building block, it's an afterthought. And yeah, a lot of the time we think that composition made that painting work. Thanks, Joe. And that makes us try and control it too much. You've got to lose that control and be surprised by compositional elements that appear. It's great to understand composition. Read a book. There's thousands of pages understanding perspective and all these different elements to it. But I'll tell you a thing, all these pictures that old masters meticulously pored over and got perfect perspective and composition, all these things, I don't feel more from them. I feel just as much from those as I do from a Pollock. And yes, Pollock, composition, blah, blah, yes, but a lot of artists who are masters are Van Gogh, compositional elements. Like it's a feature. It's like the decorations on a cake. It's like this. Composition's the shape of a cake. You got circles, you got squares, you got rings, you've got tears. It's just the shape. It's not worth getting thrilled by. Sorry for going down to those too much. Ohio, love what you paint. I've seen this kind of painting before. And hello, how you doing, Scott? Lovely to see you in here. Absolutely love you. This is a New York cityscape. As a city street, yes it is. This is New York City. Unconfirmed, we think it might be 5th Avenue, but we don't know. And the trick here, at the moment, is just building up layers. That's all we're doing. So we've started with our big, thrown around explosive colours, and then as we go, we'll redistribute the intensity. Some of those colours will move things around. Nothing's going to be fixed just yet. Yes, that's why as soon as I said Pollock, I did this, because whenever he comes up in an art critic class or an art theory class or anything, that's why as soon as I said it, I was like, I don't even want to talk about it. So yes, Pollock's a case, he's very famous, we have an understanding and we talk about his work in a whole bunch of different ways. But at the end of the day, we could say, I mean, yeah, the fun we get about talking about with Pollock is that his work looks so primal, random, cascading splatters that we've got two parties. One party that says there is no composition in that at all, and that's the beauty of it, and the other party says that's 100% composition. There's nothing in that but composition. Oh my God. You want to know the fact of the matter? Both parties are right. So it's best just to avoid the argument. Bah. Yuck. Yeah, it's art history time. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but honestly, with art history, if you are looking at an artist and investigating their psychology and saying that I know what they were thinking, it was like this, and other people are probably wrong with their opinions and I understand what he was feeling, that's a red flag. Not on you, but it's a red flag in the way you're thinking. Typically, art is subjective fundamentally. You can lump a lot of things into a lot of different baskets, And what you're looking for is a creative journey that helps you better understand the artworks through history, to better understand what's meaningful for you, what makes your heartstrings pop, what really spins your wheels. So when you like something, you trust your taste. You don't sit there and think, oh, but I need to learn more about art before I bought art because I wouldn't be quite sure. No, if you understand these little nicks and knacks, you can trust your taste. You can trust it right now. If you like something, you like it. Don't let any art movement, gatekeeping art curators keep you from understanding what makes you truly happy. No one can tell you. When you see a picture up on your wall that you purchased that makes you happy every single day when you see it, no one can tell you that's not valuable, that's not special. It is. Sorry, bit of a rant there, but I hope you understand what I'm saying there. It's a great little cup. I've been called out because this is a custard cup, and I like to use it as a coffee mug. It's perfect for it. But sadly, guys, just there, a little crack. It's no good. And at the same time, Scott especially probably ignore my opinions, because you know what? If you want to discredit me, the easiest way to do it is be like, well, he never intensely studied Pollock, so he doesn't deserve to comment. That's called a straw man argument, and you could use it. My studies was the history, specifically, that I spent more time on, was the history of photography, perspective in paintings, ancient religious works, and pre-Raphaelite period. But my favourite periods is postmodernism, because that was less about the art and more about the chess. And so art history, like chess, when I say like responses and movements and artists trying to be clever, and artists had more autonomy to be tricky and clever and do things. So that's my favourite period to look at in terms of art history. But in terms of art itself, all art's all good. All art's all good. Especially when you find artists who make art and love making it. Too many times we find art and it lacks that oomph that art gets when someone makes it with love. Means what they do. Means what they do. I sort of feel like that's an artist without a price, you know, an artist who will paint and do their craft, but wouldn't ever remove that part. What's an example of that? If you had the opportunity to have employees do the paintings for you, say, and you could just see the paintings happen and clip the ticket and then run off. A real artist craves doing it. It's like a real rugby player, a real football star, a real anything, sportsman-wise. Nothing can keep them off the field. They want it. They need it. There's a hunger there. I feel like with great artists, there needs to be that hunger. And don't get it confused. Don't think, I don't have a hunger, I can't be a great artist. Hunger builds. Hunger builds and builds. Get in front of a canvas, and if you don't start getting hungry for canvases after you start making work, trust me, just trust me, you will. You'll start feeling hungry. Now you can see here, there's our lamppost coming up there with a banner on it. I love this. Marty, you're an absolute champion. Thank you very much. And then here we have some rails. So our first capturing of some of the smaller details in the piece. But again, we're not trying to emphasize them. They'll just appear as we continue to add more layers. Insinuations of detail. Now, remember what you want to see my sketchbook. My sketchbook is an absolute piece of work. In fact, if I looked at my sketchbook, it looks like a Pollock. It looks like a Pollock painting. I do lots of scribbling. I do lots of etching. Never with a purpose. Sometimes I just draw with the intentions of trying to run out a ballpoint pen. I wonder what I have to do and how I have to move to run this pen out of ink. Sometimes that's all I'm doing. Pretty sure my sketchbook is the first example of a sociopath. Remember, the 21st night of September. Is that, wait, Earth, Moon, Sea, Fire? Do you remember? Yeah, it is, it is. I think we... Eva Dennison, you're going to make me nervous about my laugh if you keep talking about it. But I appreciate the compliment. Here we go. So hopefully as we go through this, you'll start to see these cars. That's... Seb said it, not us. What have I said? Something. Here we go. Do you know Blackpink? No, but I did hear that pink was the new black. And Jay Smith, hello. If you didn't catch my hello earlier, good to have you here. I hope you're... Oh, speaking, I was just about to say I hope you're thriving. And I thought that's probably too youthful for me. But there was a word I learnt. Get ready for this. So, I want to say the kids these days, but people in their teens were saying slaps. Now, I got to the slaps party really late. I'm there now, I say things slap, because I'm hip and I'm cool. Turns out I'm now behind the play. The new word to say is hits. That hits. This meal hits. Or this meal is hitting it? I forget. But hits is a term. And so now I'm down with that. And so when Shelby cooks dinner, I'm like, that hits. Slay, I can't get on board with Slay. I'm a geek. I'm from Dungeons and Dragons times, you know. Slay is for, you know, you slay dragons. Slay reminds me of like going through dungeons and rolling dice. I can't get on board with, like, I'm glad everyone likes that term. It's all good, but it's not my cup of tea. It's not my bread and butter. Times Square, it's not Times Square, but you are very close. I think we need to test this, but I think we're on 5th Ave. I also need a charger because my time lapse is about to die. Give me 15 seconds. Sorry, just trying to plug this in somewhere secure. There we go. Bringing it round here. Don't worry, I am coming back. Just plugging that in. There we go. Screwing that onto there. Coming around here and just checking it is charging before I get too excited. It's not charging. What about now? Oh. Come on. There we go. I got it. There we go. Wait, is that working? Oh my god. I need to get a new multi-board. This one's terrible. Terrible. Marty, you're an absolute champion. Thank you very much. Danny, welcome back. And Michael is heartbroken. Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael. And Danny, I'd just like to say thank you so much for being a subscriber. You are absolutely lovely. I really appreciate it. Even if you don't renew, I loved having you. So, you're the best. On that same note, different note. I need to get another 32 pigments into this picture. Now, I'm not too fussy of what pigment comes next. So there's a brief window to give some suggestions before I tear into the next one. What's it going to be? I think we're going to grab just a little bit of this. It is. This is New York. I'm going to grab a little bit of blue mixed into the black. Here we go. Sheesh. Sega Paradox. But yes, Jade, I do agree that, sorry, where I was before, slay is a cool term. It's just too meta for me. I need things that aren't quite that cool. I like hits though. Hits is easy to say. I'm on board with hits. They're always so violent though. Like, it slays. It hits. It, like, what's the other one? It slays, it hits, it slaps. Where's the... It leans back with a margarita and chills. Like, it strikes me that that one would be the biggest example of winning, right? I know, I've got a good one. It relaxes and listens. That sounds like a real win these days. Oh, I love that new song. It relaxes and listens. Such an amazing song. It holds space for me and doesn't judge me. All the things we want from a song. Or an activity or an action. Hello, Ivan. How we doing? And Sam, I'm surprised. I thought you already followed me. Touche? Jeepers. Yeah. I don't think it quite fits. I think you'll get funny looks, but I have been quietly aware of the level of violence we have in our comments for what's success and what's not. It hits, it slaps. Like, why not just cut straight to the point and say something like, oh man, that injures. They probably, look, I may say that as a joke right now, and then all of a sudden, everyone's going to be like, yeah, that hospitalizes. That, I don't know. Hello from Colorado, welcome. You've got amazing national parks. I think if I was going to come up with a saying right now of a good thing, like if you want to say something's really good, you know, I would say that's a morning coffee. Because that's like inarguably always a great thing. Even when the coffee's not good, a morning coffee slaps. I did the thing. I said it slaps. I'd say that's a morning coffee. Or even, no, it needs to be faster than that. That's the first coffee. Oh yeah, that's the first coffee. I think there's nothing beats that first morning one. And I think that's pretty good. And when your first one in the morning can be a espresso, or first still, when you can get that first one and wait till about 11 or 12 o'clock and then have it. It's 11 p.m. Well, lovely to have you. A couple of little nooks here. There we go. And 3 more. Perfect. Hello, Jow. How you doing? There we go. Beautiful. Hello, Jenny. Man, we've got the whole plan today. I'm a little bit gutted I can't hang around longer. I'm here until another 28 minutes, so I need to speed this up. because I'm applying paint right now like I've got all day, which I usually do have, but today I need to dash off. This is just that quick little 2 hour, hour and a half session, 2 hours and a half, perhaps. Oh, Jow, I'm doing good. I'm enjoying this landscape. There's one other one that I have not shown you all yet, because we've been tied up on this one. There we go. Times Square or Broadway? It might be Broadway, actually. That might make sense. A certain angle of Broadway. But you know what? I kind of like not knowing. So my predispositions rub onto the painting less. I like the fact that I'm just seeing colours and lights. And firing the shots just like I see it. There we go. Shanghai vibe. I like that. I like that. There we go. Some bodies in here. Memories of Broadway. That's awesome. Right. Down with that tray. Up with this one. This is our previous colour palette, same colours, but we're going to swap them over. Same 4 pigments, but this time I'm going to add in some white. Now the reason why white's going to have a massive effect is white's going to have a dramatic effect because it's going to swap the colours to be more pale, obviously, but because of the black we've added that isn't dry yet, it's going to make it more grey as these colours land. So the pink and the blue will still hold precedent over everything else in the picture, but these other ones will capture those little bits in between, because you can't just have pop. If you want to get that realism, when I say realism, I don't mean realism like a photo, I mean the feeling of the place. There needs to be a subtle blending throughout the image. Just a subtle one. Paul, you're an absolute champion. Appreciate the paper crane, mate. And I hope you're healthy. Woo. Congratulations on being a member level 10. Thanks, Paul. Member level 10. What a place to be. What a time to be alive. There we go. Now I've seen the effects of this colour. Paul, you are just made of paper cranes today. And I love it. There we go. So you can see some of those highlights coming in there as the colour cascades in. Great place to be. And then over here, a couple of poles dancing down the street side there. How am I? Whee! You know what? What really excites me, Paul? I reckon on certain given days, I reckon you can tell from the painting. Lee, if that's Lee Bryce, the country singer, you've made my day. I used to dance or play your song, I Don't Dance. I Can Dance? I Can't Dance. Back in America, when I was painting sets for children, late into the night, I was painting these sets, coat after coat, and that song would come on, what was it, 109 The Wolf, country music in Maine. I'd love it. That was my jam. If you haven't heard it, it's called I Can't Dance. It's a great song. I don't dance. Basically a guy saying he doesn't do the stuff that he's now doing with the girl he's with. I don't think it explicitly says girl though, so you can take it in whichever way you want. I like it. I don't dance. There we go. G'day, Scud. But I'd like to get to a stage where people are familiar with this painting style so much that you can almost read my mood by how the paint lands. I got pulled up for one of the YouTube replays where one of the watchers on YouTube said, "Hey, I reckon you weren't so much in the mood today. You didn't paint like your normal, vibrant, crazy self." And he may have been right. Like I say, you don't get better to a point where you stop having artist block, where we feel like the best of the best feel like doing it every single day, all the time. But different things can block you up. You can feel nauseous, maybe I don't know, you've been down to gessoing a bunch of coats in a room that wasn't well ventilated, then all of a sudden you go into a painting set feeling a little lightheaded, and I know it shouldn't happen, but it does. You know, these things are all part of the reality. Hello, what's the name there? Apollo. Apollo who? Apologize. Where's that? Portland, Oregon, Joey. Is this artwork a gift for me? Jeepers. Well, depending on the artwork, we could say yes or no, but this particular piece belongs to a special individual called Chad. Belongs to him. Here we go. Up top. Here we go. 3 windows. Wow. Beautiful. Where else are we going to go? Just down in here. You can see those little small highlights. But look at the impact they have on the overall picture. They start to capture that detail in quite a fun way. Let's step back a little bit here. Can we see the reference? Victoria, hello. How you doing? Of course you can. Of course you can. Let me see here. Oh, I've taped it on pretty good. I might have to... How can I do this? I know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to sort you out, Victoria. You're going to be like, wow, how do you do that? No, you won't be that amazed, but if I go like this, go into here, dive into send a picture. If I find that picture, if I can find it, favorites, is it in favorites? Is it in screenshots perhaps? There it is. Send. Perfect. And then I put this back. Again, bear with me. We're making good ground here. I can go there. Just like that. Then I come up here. I hope you're impressed anyways. This has taken some significant labour to make this happen. There we go. Done. Ooh-wee. There we go. There we are. There we go. Let's go there. Okay, so let's see if I can make this better now. Here we go. Almost there, Victoria. There we go. Okay. I've done it. Bang. Like that. So here's our picture. Now we have, if you look at it here, can I reach in front of it? Of course I can't. Idiot. Cars moving up this way, tarmac, the colours reflected into the tarmac. You've got the light here, a street lamp. We're slowly building the colours up in that street lamp, and these giant walls which are all concrete. So we've got the concrete footpath, the tar seal road, and the concrete walls grabbing most the colours. Are you ready for it to disappear? When it disappears, you're going to see the real painting. I sound like a magician right now. I'm going to make it disappear, and you can see if we're looking good, or if we're getting close, or if there are colours that are missing. Again, we've still got 32 pigments to add, so there's a lot more layers to go. Here we are, bang. So here's our current picture, where we're at. So you can see there's much more of a scattering, mattering of colour through this area here. We'll do one more up and down. There's the picture. You can see that cut line coming through there, the footpath, the road, the cars, the big concrete wall, and the logo sort of lingering around here. Bang. There's our other picture, back up. This one here is a little bit cropped, a little bit funny. Let me just see if I can put it more towards the centre there. Yeah, that's better. So there's the actual with the bit there on the side there too. Bang, that's the whole thing. Coming back in. There we are. Did we make sense? Possibly. Who knows? Who knows? Love it. Thanks, Victoria, and thanks, Trina. Now, will you draw a new one or not? I'm not quite understanding the question, but it's good that you're asking. No, I don't get the question. I'm trying to think about it, but it's out of my depth a little bit. Yeah, so anyway, the next colour, what's it going to be? You know, hit it with a bit of green. Do we dare? Are we that crazy? I think we are. Hitting it with green would be crazy. We're going to do a little bit of brown. That's naughty. Just a little bit. There are just some little bits. It's not a natural place. It's concrete. It's a concrete jungle. But there are these natural colours. Johnny, keep the Calvin Klein clean. Johnny, look, I love to keep my shirts clean and look after the stuff I'm wearing. But as you can see here, if I come up close, there's dots on it. It's ruined. It's ruined. And that's okay, because it wasn't about the shirt. The shirt's an op-shop shirt. The shirt served us well. But at the end of the day, we will allow the shirt to get covered in paint in order to get this painting done well. More than one paintings a day, you can, but I typically run at about 2 a week. So 2 a week is a good number to be on, because that means if you start entering a rut or you start struggling with something, you have a cushioning amount of room. So instead of butchering a painting, making it worse, and ending up in a bad situation backwards and forwards, you know that, okay, what are we going to do to make sure this painting reaches the right level of completion in the right way? Plus you need some chaos in the room. Yeah, chaos in the room is good, and I'll tell you what, we definitely had it when I was outside today. Who inspires me? A bunch of things inspire me. You guys inspire me. I think what really inspires me, I should say motivates me, is the belief that if I really go at it, really attack this painting, this one right now, forget about all the other ones, but this one right now, the one in front of me, if I attack this, and I give this all I've got, in the way that I actually try and capture vitality and care, love, on this, I mean, it's a landscape of New York. Yes, I get it. It's New York, it's a landscape, it's special. But in the way I apply the paint strokes, can I capture something else? Can I capture a feeling something real, something that you walk past and feel every day when you walk past it. Do you get a little bit of a kick from it? Can you do that? I believe you can. I believe you can. But only if you give it everything you've got. A good example is if you've watched The Greatest Showman. Music. Can music make you feel something? If music can make you feel something, then surely a visual medium, something even stronger than sound, can make you feel something. That'll be a fact. So, there's a scene in The Greatest Showman, which I love, which is when the singer, I'm not sure who she was, but she gets up there and starts singing, and all of a sudden, everyone in the room feels the emotion of what she's saying. While she's singing, she's crying because she's feeling it. And then Hugh Jackman, who plays the guy, he is in this moment where he's not crying, but he sees feeling come through audio. That's what he gets. So in that way, a feeling like goosebumps. Goosebumps if you haven't felt it before, but if you have felt it before, just a raw, authentic moment. Now, painting won't give you a euphoric moment where you're like, not like music will. Music's 3 minutes, music's a song, it comes at you, bang, here's your moment of feeling. Here's all this amazing expression coming at you all at once, and you connect with memories, you hear the words, and you feel feelings you've felt before or want to feel. You feel love, you feel a hunger for love, if that's what the song's about. You get that. But with art doesn't have the same effect. It's slightly different. With art, I find that you get that same feeling in a smaller amount over and over and over again, over a long period. If you had Starry, Starry Night on the wall of your house, you would get a little kick from that every day for 30 years, every time you saw it. And now we're talking about something which is less potent immediately, but more potent after it hits you time and time and time again. You can see a piece of artwork every single day and have your day improved by it, whereas if you had the same song every single day, 3 days, 20 days, 100 days, 4 years, you're going to get tired of that same song. And that's why art fits this very different part of honest emotion, but still a valuable part within our lives. That's what I reckon. And you've got me for another 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Pink's like, yeah, 11 minutes, so can you paint instead of just telling me about what art does? You use more senses with music. With art, you stand and look at it, and it builds emotion over a period. I think that's... I don't think you use... I wouldn't say more senses, probably a different sense. But I think a lot of artists, we typically put artists in galleries, but we put musical artists up on stage. But those areas get blurred, guys. If you go to a concert, there'll be lights, there'll be actions, there'll be moments, there'll be intrigue. It's actually a work of art when you go to a good concert. They'll try and turn it into almost an exhibition of sound. And then when you go into an actual exhibition, they won't just use, when you go to an actual exhibition, it won't just be artwork on walls some of the time. They'll use audio, they'll use smell, they'll use everything to their power. So this is important. This is important. Right, where was I? In here. Let's grab a bit of this. There's not much of this colour, but we will get it. How many different styles can you draw? How many different styles can I draw? Is that me personally? How many different styles will I draw on? I will chop and change it. Your style's got to be almost like water, in that, depending on the artwork, like this artwork here, this one's likely going to become a bit more impasto. Another art might require much more layering. When we did Mahalo immediately, because it was with water, got far more transparency gels through it because we need to get that smooth layering of all these different colours, get this wave going, whoa, moving. With this one here, we don't need transparency because with transparency, concrete doesn't have that. And so you're going to lose that concrete feel when you make it all transparent. So much more colours. I've got more now. I've got 45 pigments. 45 pigments over the work, but less transparency. So it has a concrete feel, but all the colours you need. Now we're talking. Sorry. If I put some, how long would it take you to realise it wasn't paint? Yo Kim. Depends on the mayo, but if you are working with paint, you want to get really good at feeling it. So see what I'm doing here, how I'm mixing it just constantly while I'm talking. I can be like going like this with it. You're just checking the viscosity, checking how it feels, how dry it is, how wet it is, what stage it's at. And if there was suddenly mayo on my plate, I might give a little confused look down where I think, wait a minute, this doesn't feel like that 50, 30, 20 split I had between the 3 gels and paint that I was using. This feels strange. I wouldn't taste it. I'd probably grab a new plate because I'd be like, there's something wrong with this paint that I was using. If you really wanted to get me and send me on a tailspin, empty out my titanium white tube, my ivory white tube, replace it with mayo, and I'll probably do about 3 plates worth before I realise that actually, okay, my titanium white's butchered. I don't quite understand why. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. You can draw comic style. That's actually fantastic. It's actually fantastic. I do love comic styles. I think those old school comics are a work of art in themselves. It's a reason why they hold so much value too. Old school comics. There we go. Hello. Cat zoom something. There we go. I'm going to grab another colour here. 6 more minutes, team. That's exactly what we're after, Jenny, I think. It's definitely late in the night. It's definitely New York, so all the lights are on, but there's moisture here on the ground. And so there's this feeling, and we're losing it a little bit now, but we'll get it back, is this reflection between the lights in the sky and then the wet footpath. So that's going to be good. We'll get that. We'll get it. A little bit of this. A little bit of this. Here we go. Rainy City. Yes, indeed. There we go. All right. Crack this all around here. This is now into, yeah, but we won't let the texture overwhelm the painting. This isn't one of those regular, how many, I mean, jeebus, you can look it up the reels for it. How many reels do you see of a cityscape being created with an impasto brush, kiwi? And so we don't want that. We're doing our own unique version of New York. And so we're going to level the texture, maybe once or twice. And we're going to do that with a pouring medium, so liquid glass and then more colours. So although we are doing little amounts of transparency gel, we're still going to have an abundance of layering occur. There has to be an abundance of layering. So the layers though will literally be layers. There'll be a separation between them, millimeters in it, rather than just on top of each other, just like buildings. gaps between them. No, I studied, mate. Not a full degree. Well, a full degree, but not all visual art. I did art history and philosophy. I mixed a few things in there. But honestly, in terms of my craft, pears and what was I going to say? And philosophy had the biggest impact. The thing that stopped me from painting for a while, and the thing that brought me back to painting, was philosophy. Because at a certain point, if you are an artist, you're going to be looking at... I'm convinced he doesn't want us to know what the street is in New York City. No, I just honestly don't know, Chrissy. I love that. I will ask, but probably once I'm finished. I think that's more fun. We'll probably name it after the street, to be honest. Or we'll call it the Big Apple. But either way, I think that's fun. Of painting Shiprock. Tiana. Shiprock, never heard of it, but it sounds like fun. Well, that's good, mate. That's fantastic. I was going to say, sorry, at a certain point, all artists will ask themselves, as they're looking at a canvas, and usually it happens with a blank canvas. This is that artist block that you get. You'll ask, why? Why am I about to paint this? Why am I doing this? And if the answer comes in because you'll get paid, that's not enough. That's not enough to pour emotion out onto a canvas. That's not enough for the effort and the challenges and the journey you're about to go on. And so this why comes in. And when you ask yourself the why, for me, it was my deep dives into philosophy that allowed me to go, this is why, and understand that argument and articulate that to myself to actually apply paint to canvases. Look it up on Ask Jeeves, alright. Ask Jeeves, that's wild. It's been a while since I've heard about that. Yeah, and I guess that makes me lucky, because if I didn't do philosophy, I may have asked myself why, failed to answer it, and left that altogether. Sound like a familiar story to you? Happens a lot. Do you sell your originals or just prints of? Cutie. I sell originals, but they're a little bit, and I'm sorry, a little bit hard to get a hold of. I do have a few that I'm going to upload as originals, and they'll be available. But most of the work you see here is commission based. So people will commission an original, which you're welcome to do. But that's a great way of going, right, I'm not going to wait for you to finally get an original and then battle with everyone else for it. Make me this. And I love that, because then, like I've said before, I can use your creativity, your inspiration, and feed that into my creativity and craft, and we can make something unique and special. I love that. If we cross paths, however philosophical chat would be interesting to start. Next time you're in GC, there you go. There you go. But just like you have to do with this, imagine a sportsman. At a certain point, the weight's going to get too much. The effort that has to go in is going to be so much that winning that particular game isn't going to be enough of a why to do what he needs to do, or she needs to do. And so when that comes into context, you need to step up and have your why already conducted. Why am I about to put up more effort than I possibly could ever before? Why am I about to do this to myself? And then your mind kicks in and says, this is why. This is why we're about to do this. This is why we're about to go through this. Let's do it. So that same kick that your brain can give you in sport is the same kick that your brain needs to give you in art. And it might be the same why. Who knows? Self-discipline through passion of choice. I don't quite understand that statement, but I think that it sounds like it's coming from a wholesome direction, so I'm all about it. Hello Taylor, how are we doing? Alright, we've just curved over 4 o'clock here, 4:30 here in New Zealand. I'm going to do a little check. I was waiting on a text to tell me what I had to do. Yes. Alright, I have my instructions, my marching orders. I need, what's happened to the elephant, Louise? It is, do you want me to bring it out and show you? I'll show you. But it's currently in the middle of all these other paintings. Here we go, let's bring it in here. Who's ready to see the elephant? Voila, here's our elephant. And I'm just going to show you real quickly as I move it around these lights. So see how those lights hit it? You get an idea, I'll do it really slowly, of texture on it. Here we go. That's fun. Just like that. Ooh. There we go. Beautiful. So this one here is not finished. It's got probably its first 2 layers on it. That'll be a 4 or a 5 layer painting. The colours won't change a whole lot, but it will get that depth through it. So at the moment, you look at the elephant, this is the experience you have. You look at it and you go, oh wow, it's an elephant. Or like, oh, I love the colours. I love those greens and reds. They're so nice. But then if you keep staring at it, you won't see this depth inside some of the colours. There'll be these large blank areas that don't have this enticing nature to them. And so the reason why you keep doing layers after there's already a pretty picture is so when you keep looking at it, the elephant keeps giving. And if you do it enough, with enough hundreds or sometimes thousands of brush strokes, when you go to look at it, you'll always notice something new. There'll be an overlapping of colours, a paint stroke, a whole pigment, and things that you don't see the first time, and by the time you've recognised enough things, you've forgotten the ones you started recognising. So you'll never ever fully know the painting. And that is when I talk about giving you a little bit of joy every day for 20 years. It needs to have that level of complexity. Otherwise, saying that you'll get permanent joy from it, at a certain point, once you fully understand it, your love for it might start to diminish. But if every time you look at it, the understanding of what you love about it slightly tweaks, and that tweak never stops, it just keeps spinning, that's what a painting needs to do. So, that being said, what's this one called? This one at the moment is called the Big Apple, but that's unconfirmed. We might call it the street name yet, and I need to talk with the owner of this commission about what the exact name will be, because that's done with them. So I don't just name these things. These are a journey between me and the person who orders the commission, and so we haven't discussed the name yet. So I'm just firing off ideas. Guys, thank you for tolerating my little show and tell there as well. I do need to dash, which is a real pity because there's 200 people here and you're all lovely people. But I made some guacamole and I need to go to a family dinner and show them my lovely guacamole. I put lemon in it and pepper in it and some chili flakes, and I made some hot salsa sauce to go along with it, and now I need to go display it. So despite all you lovely people being here, I need to dash. Cheers, Pink. You're an absolute champion. And Zhao, absolutely lovely to have some. Yes, fire through some pictures on Discord. And Steve, lovely to have you here. Victoria, you're the best. Who else do we have here? Jay Smith, you absolute champion. And yeah, guys, if you want to see more paintings, if you want to see me doing some crazy fast jobs with reels, they're all there. The links in the bio. It's to a link tree. It goes everywhere, to prints, to commissions, to Instagram to replays. They're on YouTube. And apart from that, have yourselves a great day, great night, great evening, great middle of the night. If it's 2 a.m, go to sleep. Don't let me turn this reel off and then sit there and keep scrolling. If it's 2 a.m, trust me, there's nothing there for you. Get an early morning. Don't scroll for 2 hours into the night. Unless that's your thing, then do it. Ignore this random Kiwi. Cheers, guys. Bye.